What's up, everybody? Did you guys like the intro? I thought that was pretty sweet. All right, so this has been a lot of fun so far getting this set up. I I'm very, very, very excited. Oh, my name is Theo Snodgrass, by the way. This is Theocracy. I'm your host, Theo Snodgrass. I'm pretty excited this is my new show. I have a panel show on Saturdays called Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass. This is my new show. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna say hi to the chat real quick. What's up, Lady Allie? This is why, by the way, this is why people don't like Protestants. This is why we find you smug and kind of judgy. But I appreciate that you care enough about me to criticize me. So the world needs more nosy church ladies, Allie. Keep it up. What's up, Diana? What's up, girl? How you doing? Oh, look, that's me. Stream Elements tip jar. By the way, if you think I deserve money, please send me money. That'll be fun. Hey, what's up, Vagabond? How you doing? Let's see. Oh, thank you, Diana. Some people felt like it was blasphemous as we covered that earlier. But yeah, no, things are good. Well observed, Bad Sauce. Yeah. All right. What was I? Well, okay, so I'm just gonna get into the stuff that I wanted to talk about. This has been an incredible week already. I'm so excited. So, did you guys hear about the dildos at the WNBA games? Have you guys heard about this? I have a story about this to pull up. Give me 1 second. This is gonna be fun. All right. Ah, look at that. Look at me sharing a screen. All right. So we're going to play this. Let me know if you guys can hear this. This is a lot of fun.
The WNBA is cracking down on dildos being thrown onto the court during games. The sex toys have shown up 6 different times from Atlanta to LA, posing a risk to players.
It's ridiculous. It's dumb. It's
corny.
It's stupid. It's also dangerous. And, you know, player safety is number one. Respecting the game, all those things. I think it's really stupid.
So what is this? Who's responsible for starting this trend?
Who's
Apparently
responsible?
a crypto meme group, which calls them pranks. But those pranks have so far resulted in 2 arrests, and it raises the debate. Is it a sexist stunt? Is it some sort of rite of passage that every league experiences something like this? What is going on? What is this?
Okay, this is fucking hysterical. I love this. So, okay, that just gets you updated that the story's happening. There's been a break in the case, guys. There's been a break in the case. I'm so excited. As far as I know, I'm the first one to report on this. I have to show you this. Here we go. Are you guys seeing that? No, not yet. Hold on. There we go. You see that? New York City man wearing Beavis and Butthead t-shirt wanted for throwing sex toy at a Liberty game. They got him. They got a little video, by the way. Somebody got it on their phone. Look.
No way. I don't want to get down.
You guys got plastic?
Okay. So when you see the guy, hold on, I'm going to show you this. That's the guy. He's wearing the Beavis and Butthead shirt. That's him. That's our hero. So my love. Okay, I have to wonder when he set out to do this. Right? Did he think that he was going to be on the front page of the New York Post? Like, Vagabond, protect that man. That guy's a hero. They put okay, that's the other thing too. They're putting up anti-dildo nets on the courts. There was a proposal that they have games without fans in attendance to prevent dildos from being thrown on the court. And that's how you know this is all performative bullshit. Because fans in attendance is the entire point. That's the entire point of hosting a sporting event. That's the whole point. That's how you decide how much money the players get paid. Also, right? So this is all just performative bullshit to get men to spend more money on sports betting apps. No one gives a fuck about women's rights in this situation. This is all just performative nonsense. It's not a legitimate scheme to make money on basketball. The only reason they're doing this, they're calling it virtuous. The only reason they're doing it is to get men to spend more money on sports betting apps. I'm tired. I've had a lot of caffeine today, guys. I've been holding that one in for a while, too. Great point. There are already no fans in attendance. Yeah, good point. Did you hear fucking Brittany Griner was complaining because when Caitlin Clark plays a game, goes to a game, there's a lot more people in attendance, so it's very loud. And the how loud it is in the stadium makes it hard for her to play basketball. She misses when the WNBA was more of like a mom and pop environment. You could take your laptop to the WNBA game and get some work done. It was like sitting in a bustling Starbucks. And now there's people here. How rude. Don't they know there's a basketball game? That's not because, guys, fans in attendance is the entire point. That's how you decide how people get paid. It's the whole point. It's that and how much merch. And we know this is fake. But my favorite part about the dildo scheme, because I want to get back to the dildo scheme. Hold on. What did green-haired anti-liberal say? Good point. Happy you're here. Green-haired anti-liberal, friend of the show. My point with the dildo thing is that people know that this is bullshit, and what's crazy is how they're defending it. Like, they're treating it like it's the crime of the century. Like, CNN had a panel because they threw a dildo on the court. And also, in the reporting on this, I want to bring this up one more time because there's an important part. Listen to how they framed this. Because it's like, they're framing this like they're hunting like a guy who's like a super powerful wanted criminal or whatever. He's but then look at this. Man wearing Beavis and Butthead. I'm sorry. I want to be professional. I'm fine. Man wearing a Beavis and Butthead t-shirt is sought by police for throwing a lime green dildo during a New York Liberty game and nearly striking a 12-year-old girl. Do you see how they just made you think he's a pedo? Or how do you say pedophile in YouTube speak? Anyway, that's what they're trying to make you think he is. A friend of the playground, right? Because he threw a sex toy and he hit a minor. So Eddie looks like this. So now you're making assumptions about him. See how that's called neuro-linguistic programming. They said it to you without saying it to you. They did it on purpose. So this guy was doing what I think is objectively a funny prank to what is objectively a monument of preposterous left-wing virtue signaling. Just a complete nonsense. Like, what they're trying to do with the WNBA is a farce. And it's obvious. People know it. People are noticing. And that's what he did. He threw. The way they're defending it, I think, is what's tripping me out. Like, they're really going after this guy. Like, this is getting a lot of news coverage. That's how I think this is like I think it's like a golden goose kind of situation where this is like their golden goose. This is like for some reason, this is really ideologically important to them. PDF file. Thank you. Apps. Child rapist. These are some good suggestions. Thank you, guys. Hey, what's up, Roguish Nerd, friend of the channel? What's up, buddy? Full Metal Nate is here. What's up, buddy? Friend of the channel. I wake up and I see you're live. Hope all is good. This WN thing is comedy gold. LOL. Oh, thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. Yeah. It's funny, a bunch of women are trying to be taken seriously and dildos keep getting thrown at them. I agree. Thank you. No, it's okay. So I don't mind if they want to play basketball. That's the thing. I don't care if they want to play basketball. What I object to is they're saying I'm a bad person because I don't want to watch it. I don't watch things that are boring and bad. Life is short. We're all going to die soon. So I'm choosing not to watch that because it's boring and bad. If you want to watch it, that's fine. But I'm not a bad person because I don't want to watch it. Right? Can we just agree to that? That's all I want from you. You can watch it. That's fine. You're allowed whatever you want to do with your finite amount of time on planet Earth. That's fine. But life is short. We're all going to die someday. I don't want to spend 1 second doing that. I have other stuff to do. Okay? So it's not a bad person thing. Like, go nuts if you want to. I don't want to watch Angel Reese attempt 7 layups in a row. And Allie making the point. No, they think you're bad. They're bad. You're bad because you're a man. That's probably, that's bummer, but that's probably true. Okay. Like I said, what I object to is like the pay us what we're worth when you work at a business that does not make money and in fact has lost money every year it's been open and in fact is subsidized by a much larger business. Your existence is a charity. And, okay. So when NBA players started flying on private jets, it was because it was economically necessary. That happened at like the late 80s, early 90s when the NBA experienced a huge explosion in popularity because we're right in the tail of the Bird and Magic rivalry. And then bam, Jordan shows up. Boom, explosion in popularity. Now the league is making a lot more money, so it makes sense to fly the players in private jets. And then the girls in the league that doesn't make any money are like, we should get private jets too. And we gave them to them to be nice, and that's fine. You could give it to them, but we're doing it to be nice. We're not doing this because you earned it. And the more we do to be nice to them, the more they're like, give us more, give us more, give us more. There's no appreciation. And they complain no matter what. Like, at what point I'm saying this entire thing is a farce. And so people are noticing and they're throwing dildos at it. Because that's what's happening, is what I'm saying. And the sports betting thing. Can we talk about the sports betting thing, bro? Like, I don't get nearly enough time to talk about this. But, like, the amount of men that are just, like, addicted to phone gambling is crazy. That, by the way, that is a depression indicator. If people have completely given up on saving for the future and they're just gambling on their phones? Gambling. Do you have any idea how fucking addictive gambling is to people who have ADHD tendencies? Which is, by the way, most men, because we live in a society that does not allow boys to play. And then you take away all the possibility of them having an economic future. And then you make gambling on the phone where the porn is? This is stupid. This is a stupid thing we're doing. And the WNBA thing it's a virtue signaling, like, sleight of hand so they can give you more things to gamble on. That's what this is all about. It's not, and I'm not an asshole for pointing that out. That's what bugs me, is like, I'm like a misogynist who hates women for pointing this out. Anyway, I'm sorry. I've had a lot of caffeine today. I really have to cut back on energy drinks. Anyway, let's see. Let's say hi to the chat while I'm catching my breath after that. Selena's here. What's up, girl? How you doing? Yeah. I should be paying people base. That's true, technically. What's up, Iron? How you doing, buddy? What's up? Hey, what's up, Bulbasaur 420? I don't know you, but you seem like a nice guy. Oh, what's up, Jack Tarlad? How you doing? Friend of the channel, Jack Tarlad. Oh, man, so many nice people are here. That's cool. Anyway, oh, man, this has been fun. Okay, so this just happened. I'm gonna share this real quick. Hold on. This just happened. Done talking about this WNBA thing. This is that was fun. I have more to say about that, but it'll come up later. Do you guys notice that? Okay, actually, I'm not gonna move off that yet because I was having fun. Do you guys notice what I'm talking about with the sports betting thing? Is it like, are you guys tracking that? There's an alarming number of young men who have sports betting apps and are using them a lot. And that's like not good. Is anybody else? What's up, Allie? I'm not skipping your chats. Wait, hold on. I didn't skip your chat. I pulled up the one where you said they hate me because I'm a man. That was super based. What the? Allie, okay, we'll get off this. I'm doing another thing. This is fun. I actually just noticed this the other day. This just dropped earlier today. I'm gonna do a different one. Okay. I gotta get a producer on this show. This sucks. Shout out to Emerald, 99 overall producer. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and play this video. Okay, listen to this. This is men don't need sex. Our culture is so hypersexualized that the idea of a celibate priest leaves people in disbelief as if it's impossible. That's heartbreaking. Anyway, so basically, I'm just gonna show you this video. This is why we have a hard time getting men to go to church.
Can we all talk about Father Mike Schmitz? I showed him to a girlfriend who's not Catholic, and she's like, when's Mass? What about the man needing sex? That's just a cultural narrative that basically says men are like animals and they have to be able to do this sexual thing. Otherwise, they're going to go crazy. And the reality is there's whole vocations that are celibate. And these are virile men's men. Some of the most masculine of men I know are priests. We need food. We need air to breathe. We don't need sex. It's a gift of coming together, and it's designed to bring life into the world.
I think the sexiest thing about a guy is like their self-control. And my husband has amazing self-control. So after baby number 4, when we started practicing.
All right, that's enough of that. So this is the point I want to make about this. This is the reason that you have a hard time getting men to go to church. It's shit like this. Because it kind of sounds like, I understand the point they're making about celibacy. I'm Catholic. I understand the point you're trying to make about celibacy. But it kind of sounds like you're talking about how horny it makes you to not fuck your husband. That's kind of what it sounds like to like a man listening to that. And you're not speaking from a position of authority. You're just a person just pontificating. And on a podcast, and people are going to see that, and they're going to make decisions about whether or not they go to church based on that. And I promise you, you're just like not making friends, because it kind of sounds like you're talking about how horny it makes you to not fuck your husband. Anyway, wait, hold on. Are we still doing the gambling addiction? Did I hit with that? Did I cook with that, bro? I just lost 4 viewers when I changed subjects, so I should probably. No, mobile games are a good point. That's okay. Can we talk about loot boxes for a second? That was an entryway drug to gambling, and they let you give it to children for like a decade. That's not an okay thing to do. Like, that's not okay. That's on purpose, like priming children to gamble digitally. And then when those children became adults, they made it fine to gamble on your phone. And ESPN pushed this whole fucking WNBA narrative. And right as the WNBA playoffs are happening, what do? They drop their fucking gambling app. ESPN has a gambling app. That's a conflict of interest. They have a sports betting app. That's a conflict of interest. Bro, come on. You can't be the place. This is the place I get all my sports information, and they're the ones that set the odds on betting. That can't be it. That can't be the rule. No, because then you're just fucking me. You're just fucking people then. That can't be the rule. Is no one else bothered by this? Like women playing basketball aside. I don't really care. I do think it's funny that we're all like culturally pretending that they're the. I think that's funny a little bit that we're pretend like, oh yes, this is just as good. That's the thing. You know what it is? Because women don't watch it. That's the issue. Women don't want to watch it. They want the men to watch women play basketball and to say it's just as good. And that's a different thing to want. That's a different thing. That's different. That's not equality. That's pretending something's true that isn't. That's a different thing you're asking me to do. I don't like that. And I'm not a bad person if I don't want to do it. Like, I'm not. So, I don't know. Anyway, so the basketball thing, I was talking about that more. I don't care that they want to play basketball. It does suck, though. The other thing, too, that they don't like, part of how men are fans of sports teams is just saying the worst shit you've ever said about anyone about your favorite athlete when they fuck up. Just shriek at them. You just spurg on Twitter and just, like, hope they die or whatever. And that's just something that men do, and that's part of being a sports fan, is like calling somebody a bum, saying he deserves to get fired, all this stuff. So as the WNBA has been somewhat increasing in popularity, the men who are now watching and invested because of the PSYOP they're being fans of the WNBA the same way they're fans of the NBA, which is to say, saying horrible things about the athletes, criticizing them. There's an Instagram page I follow that is tracking WNBA players' menstrual cycles so that you can bet more effectively on the games. That's a real thing. I got to show you guys that on the show sometime. That's a fun page. That's a real thing. And so, kind of understandably, the players are not psyched about this. They're like, hey, stop criticizing me and tracking my menstrual cycle. That's a weird thing to do. You don't do that. But which I get. I understand why they think that's weird. But this is how men like stuff. You just don't like it. You liked the league when nobody watched it. Because here's the thing. Now that people have seen the product, we know it sucks. Like, we know why people weren't watching before, because you guys are not that fun to watch. You're never going to see a windmill dunk in a WNBA game. And, like, the most exciting thing that happens is they make a layup on the first try. Like, Caitlin Clark can throw it in from really far away, and that's cool. But she's like their Jesus. She can do, a lot of 10th graders can do what she does. A lot of 10th grade boys could do that. I'm not trying to be an asshole about this. But it's not a fun thing to watch. And I'm not a bad person for saying that. I don't enjoy it. If you enjoy it, go nuts. If enough of you enjoy it, then maybe the league will be profitable and it'll make money. And that's all great. But by the way, the reason it's in the headlines every 6 seconds is for sports betting purposes. That's it. That's it. And by the way, you know who the real fucking victim of this is? Is Angel Reese. Because they set up this like Magic and Bird narrative between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark that started with them in college. So this was intentional. They literally were trying to follow the exact same marketing plan they did to make the NBA popular in the first place, which was to have two like racially opposite but both very talented players and then market them that way to try to like stir up public controversy and encourage people to take sides. Meanwhile, these are two human beings that did not ask for this, right? And the reason it's worse for Angel Reese is because Caitlin Clark has largely lived up to the hype. And Angel Reese is just like a mediocre player who is like definitionally a gassed up mid. She thinks she's way hotter than she is. She thinks she's way better at basketball than she is. She thinks that her product is more valuable than it is. She keeps threatening to like hold out. And she's like, I'm like a model, an actress, an entrepreneur. And here's the thing. She just keeps getting dog walked by Caitlin Clark. Like over and over and over again. Like it's not good for her like spiritually to compare herself to Caitlin Clark because that's not a good comparison. Like it's not good. It's like, you know, like that. You're not that. You're not going to be that successful. It was completely made up. It's a completely made up bullshit marketing thing. To be downstream. Again, it really pisses me off because the main thing is the sports betting and then the loot boxes in the video games earlier. Like those things. Like this is all. It's all made up. Okay, anyway, it's not about women's rights. I'm sorry. Did we. Oh, fuck. Jesus. The guy in charge of Roblox said he wants to make it a dating site. Fuck. Horrible. Exactly. Oh, nice. I like it when people agree with me. That's nice. Loot boxes are bullshit. That's right. Problem with gambling in modern video games. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad a lot of you are making this point. Let's see. Hold on. I'm way behind on chats, guys. Sorry. Men can't go fight each other, and we're almost in a depression. Of course, they're going to gamble. Yeah. Bingo. That's a very based and true take. That is kind of the point. Men are bored and feel broke. Exactly. Jack Tarlett's here. What's up, buddy? Thank you, Allie. Appreciate it. Thank you, Allie. Appreciate it. Oh, this is good. Okay, so this is kind of neat. So they'll basically, guys who were tracking analytics know that the players usually have bad games 1 week out of the month, and it's usually the same week every month. So then they just did the extrapolation from there. Yeah, and so then they can bet on. So there'll be lines like, "Hey, so and so's gonna make so many 3-pointers. Do you think she's gonna make more or less than that?" And you can bet on that. And so on the days when she's cyclically in the right spot, they assume she's not going to do as well. And they're usually right. It's kind of crazy how they're doing it. No, it's kind of crazy. To get men to watch women's sports, they all need to understand the beach volleyball, excellent women's. No, this is a really good point. There are women's sports that are popular. Women's MMA is very popular. Women's volleyball is very popular. The X League football, which formerly the Lingerie Football League, was quite popular when that was allowed to be on TV. It's when the uniform is underwear, men watch, and that's also women's MMA. I'm a big supporter of women's MMA. Like I enjoy watching women fight. It's just, yeah. All attractive, athletic women probably being treated really nicely growing up. This is their first encounter with men being honest. That's a good take. Yeah. Well, and the more it's like, geez. Yeah, seriously. Oh man, this has been fun. Yes, Angel Ring. Yes. No, well, yeah, this is all good. What's really weird is the downstream effect of this on Caitlin Clark, where, okay, did you guys see that thing with the fucking Kelsey Plum at a press conference? They all decided to wear the, like, pants the same, pants what we deserve. They wanted to wear those shirts at the All-Star game. And they're talking about it at the press conference afterwards, and Kelsey Plum, who's another one of these broads, whose name I know now because of the PSYOP, she says, just so you guys know, no members of Team Clark were present for that decision. And she said it with Caitlin Clark right there, and it's like, wow, okay. And it's just very clear that was intended as a shot. She's like, no, I'm just kidding. It's fine. I'm being funny. It's like, no, you're not, bitch. That was a shot. Which is crazy because that's their golden goose that they're shitting on. And she's gotten beaten up physically. And, like, they're just constantly shitting on her in the press and trying to insinuate that her ascendance is somehow like related to white supremacy or due to white supremacy. She could put the ball in the hoop from far away, and they hadn't had one that could do that before. I love it. Her superpower is she can just make shots at a high percentage. They didn't have one that could do that before. And she can do it. I'm not laughing. It's very serious. We support women here. Just to be clear. And they can play basketball. It's fine if they want to play basketball. Like, that's rad. Like, I'm psyched for them. Go nuts. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not a bad person because I don't want to watch it. I didn't want to do this much of the show on this topic. It's fine. I don't know. So there's a lot like morally wrong. Hold on, am I behind on chats again? Oh fuck, I'm way behind on chats. Jesus, I'm sorry guys. I never spent money on them, but I do see it as an incentive for a dev to keep. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so this is not like a stop. Okay. All right, thank you, Allie. Appreciate it. They're not that attractive, Allie. Some of them are okay. Three-pointers being racist is funny. I don't know what that means. Her superpower is bare minimum. Women, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Strider. Appreciate you. Let's see. Gotta jump off and head to work. Have a nice one. Hey, take care, man. Take it easy. Thanks for stopping by, Full Metal Nate. Oh, man, that is true. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, man, so that was a lot of fun. No, that was... The gambling thing, though, I think is... I don't know if we've talked that to death yet. That's the one that's kind of fucked up. The way they kind of, like, primed people for that in video games, and then they put it on the phone. Yeah, that's crazy. And there's no... I think it's not just a depression indicator, but, like, more than that, it's a despair indicator. So that's people who are giving up. Are people who are gambling a lot, or people who don't feel like there's any point in stowing things away for the future, because they're desperate. Also desperate to feel something. Like that's a thing now. Is modern life is both very boring and utterly terrifying. It's both at once, and it's like slow drip, constant fear of like needing to get the money together to pay the bills. It's not like you're being like chased by like a saber-tooth tiger or something, and then you can kill the saber-tooth tiger and then the danger's over. That's not what life is. Life is not like that. It's like just constant low-grade anxiety that keeps you up at night and fucks with you. And then you drink like a million energy drinks because you can't sleep. You can't sleep because you drink energy drinks, and you didn't sleep, so you need to drink an energy drink the next day to get up and go because you didn't sleep because you drank so many energy drinks. And then it keeps you in like a state of like constant emotional activation in limbo, you know? So it doesn't, people are looking for relief from that. So it's like, because it's just for something to happen that's different from the routine. A lot of people's lives are extremely routine and very boring. And so they're looking for just like anything to make them feel alive. And yeah, so... it's, I think, putting gambling... And then you put it on the phone. That's fucked up. If it's in your pocket, that's fine. It used to be you had to go someplace to gamble. But now pretty much anybody can gamble anywhere from their phone. Thank you for your feedback, green-haired anti-liberal. Thank you. Happy to be here. Friend of the channel. Sophie Cunningham is smoking hot iron oxide. That is good to notice. Yeah, so anyways, that's what else was I going to do? Oh, I wanted to show you guys something. Okay, so I saw a video, and it's one of these things I say all the time that a lot of these opinions that women say they have are fake, and I want to show you one because this was a good one. Doop. Boop. All right, let's bring this up here. Let's go ahead and play that. There we go. We did it, gang. Let's play it.
Your man comes home and he's hungry. Would you wake up and make him a meal?
No.
Hell no, he can buy his own shit.
Be independent.
No, he makes me a meal. What the fuck?
I didn't hear your answer.
I mean, I'm happily married. I'd make him a meal.
You'd make it?
Thanks, man. No, take it back. I'll make the meal. I'll make the meal.
Your man comes.
There it is. What do I always say? What do I always say? Oh, my bad. Yeah, what do I always say? Where did I... Oh, my DMs are open. Oh, my bad. I'm bad at this, guys. Anyway, that's my point. What do I always say about this, right? That they will change their opinion. These opinions are flexible. I think it's a defense mechanism that they're just like, what they're really saying is don't hurt me, don't hurt me, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. And it's like a jab. And as soon as they realize that the opinions are going to get in the way of them getting what they want, then the opinions will change. I think a lot of people think that when women are like saying shit online, that's an opinion that they arrived at through like a lot of logic and a lot of thought, and that they really like care about it. A lot of times that's just like how they feel emotionally in the moment. Like this guy, okay, picture this. These women that are admittedly, can we say, to be fair, not the most attractive women we've ever seen, right? Probably not the most attractive women that were out on the town that night in that city. We're just guessing, right? And so then the guy comes up and he shoves the camera in their face with a flashlight, and they're like, and first, of course, who does he talk to first? He talks to the fridge who's guarding the snacks, right? Little, Danny DeVito as the penguin looking woman, right? Says to her, what are you doing it? She's like, no, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. We're not making him a meal. It's like, he'd be independent. He can make his own meal. Again, she's only saying what she think is going to sound good on camera. She's like, oh, that sounds good to say. She hasn't thought through the implications of that at all. Not one bit. And then her other friend didn't have a thought before she heard her friend have a thought. She didn't have a thought of her own. She just repeated and amplified what her friend said. Had at no point did she have an independent thought in there. And then as soon as he goes to the other friend who's like the attractive one, ostensibly, she's married. And she says, oh, I'd do it. Right. I'd make him a meal. Now, immediately the shift as you find out these strong and independent women are not as strong and independent and comfortable being alone as like maybe they'd previously represented themselves. Like, these are not their real opinions. They're just like yelling. They're just thinking about like what's gonna like sound good. And now what they said sounds really stupid and they feel embarrassed. So they're changing it to try to save face because that's the thing to say that sounds good. These are not thoughts that they had, right? These are not thoughts that they had. And the married one is like disconnected from the sisterhood. So she has a little bit of distance. So that's the advantage of that for her. But remember this in your life, because I've encountered this numerous times where I was talking to a woman after a show one time who was an former OnlyFans model, current receptionist at Planned Parenthood, and just one of the most selfish, entitled human beings that I had ever met in my life. And I was talking to her after this comedy show. We were talking about everything. And, I was telling her my opinions, like, very straightforward. And one of the women who was standing around was like, oh, he just wants to put you in a Handmaid's Tale outfit. And she was like, but I'd look cute in a Handmaid's Tale outfit. She was just into it, bro. It ended up being, we parted on great terms. She's a, good person. He was good, responsible for some of my more popular clips. But no, it's like, I'm telling you, like, she started off extremely adversarial, but I think as soon as it became evident that I like wasn't actually a threat to her, like, I don't care. Like, I just think what I think. I don't really care what you think. I think what I think. And I'm not lying either. I'm not going to lie to impress you. I'm just going to say what I think. The defenses started coming down and she started admitting that I had some opinions that were, not stupid. Because I'd actually thought about them. And my opinions aren't like necessarily like directly connected to my emotions in the same way. Like, I'm not saying what I think emotionally moment to moment is going to make me feel good. A lot of my opinions suck and I hate having them. And I think a bunch of things that are true that I don't like thinking. I don't like that they're true, but I think them anyway. because it's true. So that's kind of like, what do you do? But that's like these women are not like that. And also think about that when you're encountering these clips you see of like women on podcasts. They're just hold on, I have to look at the chat. When you encounter these women who are saying like spewing feminist nonsense on podcasts, and it seems like they've never thought it through to its logical conclusions ever in their lives, it's because they haven't. They've never thought about this before. They're just saying what they think emotionally in the moment is going to sound good. They've never put a second of thought into it because they've never had to. They've never been asked to. So they're being asked to now for the first time. And so you're dealing with, I think those women in particular were demonstrating a tendency to be herd animals. The one who was like the most disconnected from that herd animal instinct was the one who was married. And that's probably not a coincidence. Like, this is, so when you're seeing these women say the most ridiculous nonsense you've ever heard in your life, and you're like, that's completely disconnected from reality. She doesn't have a relationship with reality. And she's also not saying it because she thinks it's true. She's saying it because it feels good right now. And that's not the same thing. So I think people get frustrated because they're like, hey, that thing you said isn't true. And it's like, well, but it wasn't her goal to say something true. It was her goal to say something emotionally that feels good right now. And that's different. And I think that's hard for people who care about the truth. I think it's very hard for us to deal with. We hate that. And this is my problem with the left more broadly. Is this what the left does? They just say what feels good right now. And they don't care about if it's reality. And then if you try to introduce reality and it contradicts what feels good right now, then they'll just shriek at you. Like in some cases, literally, they'll do like some kind of like childlike shriek. They become so emotionally dysregulated, and they'll call you their favorite names, like misogynist or racist or whatever, like whatever thing. And that's them not you. You've introduced reality into one of their load-bearing presuppositions, and it's a stupid presupposition that contradicts reality, and it feels bad when you have an opinion that conflicts with reality, right? We've all been wrong before. Anyway, hold on. Let's check in with the chat. That's how things are going. Vagabond, have I said hi to you yet? What's up, buddy? Excellent. Okay, there we go. And then let's see. I made a post that says thoughts. That's great. Be independent. Yeah. Yep. I don't think that's the thing. I don't think like I think a lot of women have this concept of I don't think women realize that the stuff that they brag about is just stuff men are expected to do. I don't think they understand that. Like I pay my own bills. I have a driver's license. Like, it's like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I have a job which affords me enough disposable income to pay my bills and also save money. It's like, bro, imagine a man. Wait, hold on. What did I miss? I'm in mid-rants. This better be good. Wow. Women in general are lemmings. They just follow the one they consider to be the leader. That's accurate. She's a woman, by the way. That's not me. I didn't say that. She said that. You got to take that up with her. I also think that, but I didn't say it. I was being quiet because I'm trying to be nice. She said that. But that's the things women brag about. I'll have to get back to that because I was cooking on that. The things women brag about are just things men are expected to do. And it's like, if you heard a man, imagine a man saying this. He's at a party, right? A man's at a party. He's like, I have a job. I pay my own bills. I have a car. So if a woman's going to mess with me, she better bring all that and more. Like, if a man said that, you would punch that guy in the face. Like, I want to punch that guy in the face. Like, it's just like not something you would tolerate from the man. It's an absurdity. It's like an absurd thing to say. It's like they want. It's like women want equal participation in adulthood, but they also want to get a trophy for it. And it's like, I can't hold you equally responsible and give you a trophy every time you achieve like basic adult responsibility. I can't do that. Like, that's not what equal is. Like, you don't want equal. And we see this from the phenomenon of women who like transition into men and then they find out how fucking terrible it is. And they're like, oh my God, I thought this was easier. And it's like, you thought going from a 6 as a woman to a 4 as a man was going to make your life easier? Bro, no. Bro, I could have told you that. A life as a 6 as a woman is pretty good. If you're a 6 as a woman, you are some man's dream girl. You have enough to get simps. Like, you can get a guy to simp for you for... It used to be in the 60s, if you were a 6, you could get a guy to build you a house. A guy who'd never seen you naked would build you a house. That was the deal. What's up, man? No anime degeneracy yet. Although I am gonna be getting into anime soon, courtesy of Runaway Vagabond. Go ahead and check out his show. I swear it's not hentai. That's every Sunday. Let's see who else is here. We'll talk about this later. Yeah, if you're look, that's a pretty good life. Being a 6 as a chick, it's a pretty good life. It's pretty good, you know. But then if you like go to a 4 as a man, here's the thing: if you're like 5'4" and scrawny as a dude, that is a tough existence. That is a really tough existence. And I don't think what women realize is how much social support women have that's going to get cut off the second they cross over. Like, that's like as a dude, you are largely just on your own. If you are stupendously well off in some way, or you have some kind of like really highly valued skill, then you get like a super like abundance of people who care about you. But a lot of those people just want to use you to get stuff. You know, it's a hard existence, you know, in that environment too. But for most guys, you're just like thugging it out alone. And being a 4 as a dude, hard work. Not good. Not a good time. All right. And what was I talking about? Hold on. Bulbasaur's here. Men are romantic. They don't care about the financial status of a pretty lady. That's true. And so I have seen the research that indicates that people tend to marry within social class. And that's true. It's true for men too. Like, guys with an education tend to marry women who have a similar level of education. But the further up you go, the more upper class you go, the more traditional people are. Like, you've got a guy who makes a shit ton of money and a woman who has like a nonsense hobby job where she like puts muffins in jars or whatever. It's called muffin jars, and she sells them on Etsy, and she loses $10,000 a month. Like, that's the model, you know. But it's nice because you have muffin jars. But you know, that's the model at the top. But you're right. Men are much more likely to take a chance on like a hot In-N-Out cashier than a woman is to take a shot on a good-looking barista if she's, you know, doing well financially. But I will say this though. Okay, the other thing too, this is, and I hate saying this because I did cold approach for many, many years. I think cold approach is really stupid. It's actually like, there's no data suggesting that cold approach leads to lasting relationships. The way you meet people is through friends and family. And that's it. And that's why people tend to marry within social class. Like, the rich people I know who are married, they married people that they are like the kids of like other families that they know, like the aristocracy. You know, that's how most people get together. And the reason we're fucked up with relationships right now is because, first of all, dating was always a retarded idea. Like, people met through friends and family, and that was just kind of how you did it. And that's always been the way. And then now dating apps are here and it fucked everything up. But now people are because we're not as socially connected. We don't have friendships. We don't have third spaces. More people are working remotely. And we said, hey, you're not allowed to flirt at work. So that was the other place people met people was work. And now that's fucked because of HR culture, right? And people are disconnected from their families. They're disconnected from friends. No flirting at work because of HR culture. No third spaces. Don't approach people at the gym. Boom. That's how it is. That's how you fuck everything up. And now nobody's doing anything. So of the available culturally acceptable ways to meet people, I think friends and family, you just network the shit out of it. Friends and family, people are desperate to make friends. So just expand your network. Network is net worth. And then just fucking go nuts. Like everything is networking. So do it that way. And I think but that's why I do agree with you in principle that, a guy is a lot more likely to take a shot of the hot In-N-Out cashier. I totally agree with you. That's a burger joint for those of you that don't live in a cool state. In-N-Out. Pour one out for the people who live in places like Colorado. But the point I was making, but even considering that, people like he's that guy who she may think that waitress is the hot, but he's way more likely to get married to, someone in his social sphere. But yeah, all right, let's see this is why, by the way, this is this weird phenomenon, because you think NBA players have maybe the most sexual access of any man alive. They have the most optionality, and they all end up banging the same 5 or 6 women, and a lot of them have overlapping baby mamas. Like a woman will have a child with one NBA player, then go have a child with another NBA player. And the same thing happens with rappers. But it's so weird because you think, oh, well, you could fuck anyone. Here's the thing. Why don't they go do what Bulbasaur is saying and go fuck a cute In-N-Out waitress? It's the same deal. Right? But they end up, having a bunch of babies by the same, slutty women. And they keep passing. That's weird to me. Like Anthony Edwards, one of the best. See, he's so good at basketball. There's a conspiracy theory that he's one of Michael Jordan's bastards. That's true. I actually believe that conspiracy theory. He just had a child with a woman who's 37. Which, by the way, that's fucking predatory. He's 23. What are you doing? Bro. I understand fucking him, whatever. But, having a child with him at the buzzer? A buzzer beater, baby? With an NBA player, you know what the fuck you're doing, bro. Men at 37, you know jujitsu, mental manipulation jujitsu that he doesn't know. He's all the fucking, testosterone, and he's basically a hard-on in sneakers. Look what happened to fucking Zion Williamson. You guys see that? Bro, he ended up getting all his shit aired out by this porn star he was fucking on the side. And he was paying her thousands of dollars a month. Zion needs to watch my show. That's fucking crazy, dude. Anyway, hold on. What am I? I'm sorry. I keep neglecting the chat. I need a producer on this show. Let's see. Mids are some of the most dangerous. That's true. Being approachable allows simp armies to build. Bingo. That's exactly right. That's why you got dudes being passport bros nowadays. Don't bring sweat back to yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The passport bro thing too is people meet through friends and family. I know we hate this, but the solution to the loneliness epidemic is that we have to make friends with people. That will literally fix everything. That's what's frustrating. I say alone in my bedroom. I probably go out more than any of you, and I have fucking no one. So just the people I know online. A lot of housewives are selling their money online these days. Well played, Iron Oxide. Iron Oxide, friend of the show. Check him out on the Rogues Gallery, by the way, Fridays. He's doing well. He's also doing big things on Wednesdays with Ironcast. It's going to be a good show. Barely a burger joint. Overrated. What the fuck? Are you taking shots at In-N-Out? What the fuck? I thought... Okay. Yeah, I'm revoking. Green-haired anti-liberal is not a friend of the show. It's rude, has bad opinions on stuff. I didn't know. So I'm going to interpret that as an attack from the HR department. Oh, man. Hold on. Buzzer beater, baby. Oh, thank you. I'm proud of that one. Accessibility. That's exactly right. Accessibility. It's the same. I didn't finish my point about the baby mom. So these women that go to they end up dating the same women, even though they ostensibly could just go wherever and meet a hot woman who's probably better quality and would treat them way better. But the women that are at the parties they're at are these women that keep fucking all the different NBA players. Like that's so they have the access to them. So these women are not, again, so that's the thing is like women who know what they're doing and know how to like leverage their sexuality. A lot of times they can run circles around dudes that are like super macho and super dominant in other areas of their life because they just don't have that skill set. And also like women if women have just like thrown themselves at them and made it easy for them their entire lives, then they don't really have like the necessary skills to deal with a woman who's sophisticated and somewhat manipulative. They probably don't have that skill set. So when they encounter one, they got no shot, especially if there's a significant age disparity. Like a woman who's 37 and like a seasoned hoe knows so much more than a man who's 23 that it's like not even close. Don't ask me how I know. Oh, man. Whataburger is better? Are you out of your cotton-picking mind? What kind of take is that? Bro, there's... People can see what you're saying. People know. Like, you're saying this in front of people, bro. They used to give people lobotomies for shit like this, dude. In Minecraft. What was I saying? I was talking about... like why cold approach is stupid. And I stand by that, although it's coming back now. By the way, okay, so this is something I noticed the other day. Tell me what you guys think about this. Dating apps are going to be fucking gone. Gen Alpha's not going to get on them. And a guy that I hadn't seen in a long time has had an internet fame resurgence lately, and it's Mystery. Do you guys remember who Mystery is? I don't have any clips ready. I might have to pull that up for a different show. Do you guys remember Mystery? He was like an OG pickup artist. He had a show on MTV for a while in like the mid 2000s. And this was when pickup artist was not like, persona non grata. Like you could say you were a pickup artist in public and people wouldn't try to hang you. That was just like a thing you could be. And that was before we decided that wanting to have sex with women was misogynistic. Anyway, so he kind of had his moment and then he went away for a while. And then dating apps came out and everything Mystery talked about depended on having like a 10-minute conversation with a person that started off with a really hot 10 seconds. Like really you got 30 seconds or so to make a first impression, but really more like 10 seconds. And then after that, you got to hold their attention. And then it was also about captivating groups of people and like being like, hey, what's up? I'm interesting and entertaining. Bam. And then it's like, all right, well, I'm getting out of here. You always got to be leaving in Mystery System. You're always leaving. You're always going somewhere. And you either leave them wanting more, get their contact info, or they come with you to the second location, and then you keep it pushing. And it's just like, it was more about like how to be cool at parties, and then people would become attracted to you based on that. That was kind of the vibe. And he was also the guy that, as far as I know, he didn't discover negging as a concept, but he was the guy who used the term negging is popular because of Mystery. It has a very bad rap. Actually, negging is just flirting and women do it too, and it's a totally normal human behavior. We just decided it was pathological because women didn't like how it sounded and they really didn't like that it worked. So that's what happened. But anyway, the reason you know that term is because of Mystery. Anyway, so for a long time, when dating apps and Instagram and stuff came out, everybody thought Mystery was cooked. Like, his shit didn't work anymore. It was all about, you had to be more interesting than the phone, and that has to happen in the first 10 seconds. Negging works. Thank you, Gal, friend of the channel. She's back, everybody. Hold on. Here we go. I'll throw hands. It's the correct... You are such a pain in the ass. Dairy Queen in the South is top tier. Bro, I feel bad for you saying that. I feel bad for you. What was I talking about? Right. Anyway, so Mystery is back now. And you went away after, like, the Instagram and the dating apps. The thought process is that's where women are getting most of their attention right now and getting most of their matches. So if you want to get a woman's attention in person, you don't just have to be the most interesting guy in the room. You have to be more interesting than this, because she could just do this and you're fucked. Right. So it's like you're just not good. So Mystery incorporated a lot of close-up magic because he was a fucking magic nerd. Okay, so that's actually a good point, because there are actually some people who probably don't know what that means. So one of the ways that guys get fucked up when they talk to women is that they think that the right thing to do is to compliment them. And what they forget is that a lot of women are on the receiving end of compliments all the time. So that doesn't really stand out. So it's the neg egg could be like a playful insult or like a backhanded compliment. It's not meant to be mean, but it is meant to stand out and cause like an emotionally disruptive reaction. You're just like disrupting the flow a little bit. And you're just gonna, it's like that's the reaction you're going for. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun, and it should invite a little bit of repartee. Like, it also opens the door for her to say some shit back at you. And it's supposed to be fun. This is what I like to do a lot, is like if I'm talking to somebody and they're smiling at me and they have a lot of straight teeth. And I do this to men too. So not for, I don't really do recreational fucking anymore. This is also a networking tool, by the way. This is not just for getting laid. But if somebody's got really straight teeth, I'll be like, oh, wow, God, you have really straight teeth. They're almost too straight. They're like network TV straight. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's bothering me. I don't like it. Put it away. Like something like that. It's like you're giving them a compliment, but you're framing it like it's an insult. Or I'll call, if I meet a woman who's like very attractive, I'll say she's a San Diego 7. And that's something that I do in my stand-up sometimes. And they just don't know how to take that. Now, that's very simple. A San Diego 7, if you're a 10 in your hometown, you're probably a 7 in San Diego, or a place with a real dating market. New York is like this. Miami's like this. Anywhere where like hot chicks go to be famous is going to be like this. LA. So it's just like the hotness per capita is way higher, and the peak of the pyramid, the tail of the bell curve is way out there. Like, because there's like women that are like professionally hot that live in those cities, right? So if you could be a 10 in your hometown and like you're just a mid in one of these big cities. So I say that when I meet hot women on the road, I'll be like, you guys are San Diego 7s. They never know how to take that. But it's like, and I'll explain, no, that's like a 10 in your, no, so if I'm on the road, right, and I'm in a town, I'll always say, you guys are better looking than I expected. You guys are like a bunch of San Diego 7s. It's like, no, that's a compliment. That's like a town next door 15. Because everybody wants to be hotter than the town next door. But that's kind of like what that does is it leaves them feeling like, I'm not sure how he feels about me. I'm not sure if he likes me. And I don't like that because everyone likes me. With hot chicks, the reason that works is because everybody's complimenting them all the time. And what you're saying is, I don't care what you think. I don't care if you're upset by what I've said. And because I'm willing to risk upsetting her, that means that we can repartee and have jokes. And that means she can roast me. And instead of folding and crying about it like a little baby, I might have some repartee with her. And a lot of times people don't try to have repartee with hot chicks. They just agree with everything they say and compliment them. And that's all they do. And by the way, like fucking playfully firing back and forth at each other is literally, that's the only enjoyable kind of flirting for smart people. Like, compliments are for retards. That is like a low resolution form of flirting. Insults, that's love. Somebody clip that. I'm cooking here. Anyway, so Mystery. He's the reason the concept of negging is like named and famous, and why if you say negging in front of a feminist, they'll have an aneurysm. It's because of this guy. And so people thought, well, he used to do close-up magic. Like, he was a magic dork. So he was doing stuff. It's like, well, do that now. A girl's going to be like, yeah. And she's going to look at Instagram, right? And I think that was true for millennials, and I think it was true for Gen Z. But I think Gen Alpha's fucking done. Because you know who I saw on the internet the other day? Fucking Mystery. He's back after years away. He's back, and he's talking about how to, captivate a small group and be interesting. And that's way more useful than the Andrew Tate advice was you walk up to a woman, tell her she's beautiful, ask for her Instagram. If she's a slut, don't talk to her. If she's, basically just very fucking direct, you're hot, give me your Instagram. Brr. And anything other than that was considered to be a waste of time, which to me, as someone who, when I was getting into pickup, I thought the fact that it was artistic was kind of the point. I thought the fact that it was supposed to kind of create like a dope lore moment. It's supposed to feel serendipitous. That was the whole point. It's supposed to be an enjoyable experience for a person that you like. It wasn't like, give me your parts, woman. That wasn't the point of it. And that's why the skills are more transferable, because making it so that other people feel like they're having a good time is that transfers to sales, that transfers to business, that transfers to networking, and just being friends with people. That's infinitely transferable in a bunch of other, contexts. But it's and at some point in your life, the whole point of your life should be getting late. Anyway, so this mystery guy's coming back. And I think it's because people are taking him seriously again, because people are I fucking hate dating apps. I fucking hate DMing people on Instagram and having that be the only thing I'm doing. I fucking hate the fact that you have to join a run club. God, join a run club? Join a run club? Has anybody ever... Chat, have you guys ever been so down bad and horny that you wanted to do cardio? That's crazy. Joining a run club to get pussy, it's at what cost? And what's crazy is these people don't want mindless fucking, but they don't know how to get intimacy or form connections with people. Mindless fucking is the gear they're set on. And then they don't have any idea how to get it. I think this is, it should be just inherently obvious to us as a species that the right answer is meeting people through friends and family. But that's not where we're at socially. Hold on, let's see. Okay. It's teasing without bitterness, gotta be balanced. That's right. Something such as, don't know why Theo thinks we should listen to a talking man bun. Hey! Okay, I'm not... You know what? It's fine. Not that kind of cardio. Well played, Strider. Love that. Flying Irish Running Club. I was there. No shit. That's us. Run Club sounds like the gear that Arza. Yeah, Arza, friend of the channel. He is gay. Yeah. Run. That's stupid, but people are desperate to come up with any opportunity to meet people, and it's really just a substitute for, obviously you should be meeting people through friends and family. Obviously that's the main thing you should be doing. Obviously, because think about it, when humans used to live in villages or nomadic tribes of 200 people, how did you meet people? You met the people who were there. There's never been a scenario where mating was run around and hope to bump into a stranger at random. And it's bump into a stranger and hope that she likes all the people you know and that she shares your values enough, and just hope that you're going to bump into her. And so logically this is catch-22. So the girls in rural areas are better, but you have to live in a rural area, which doesn't give you the career opportunities for everybody. So not everybody can do that. But also, they want to date and marry guys that they have cultural similarities with, because that's what people do, right? We talked about that. And so you could move to an urban area. There's a way more chicks, and in general, they're hotter, but they're hotter in a plastic surgery way. Now we got to talk about this. What the fuck is going on with the lip filler? And bro, I saw a chick at church the other day with these massive butt implants that just, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Who is that for? I think I think they're actually like all of the plastic surgery stuff is just competing with other women, and I that's what I thought. But you guys remember when I was interviewing Jasmine, and she said she was like we were quibbling over what a hot woman is. And she was like, "Oh, you mean the ones that had the big puffy lips like men like?" And I'm like, who told you that men like that? And when she was describing her like prototypical hot woman, she made sure to include that this woman had 4 PhDs. And I was like, why do you think that where's the like? So my question with the plastic surgery: do they think that like men are asking for this? And are men asking for it? Is it the men which men are asking for this? Because plastic surgery is like weirdly accessible, and a lot of people are having it. Like more than you'd expect. Like just like regular people too, not just like I know like a ton of famous people are doing it, like Instagram people are doing it, but like normal people are having just an alarming amount of Botox at an alarmingly young age. And what's weird, okay, let me run this by you. So this is something that happened recently. So my niece is 12, and she says about 1 out of every 4 short videos is trying to sell her some kind of skincare product. And like skincare, like anti-aging stuff, like retinol, stuff like that. And she said she's worried about wrinkles. And I'm like, you're 12. Why are you worried about wrinkles? That's crazy. Hold on, let's check in with the chat. I'm going all over the place. Women care about status, having plastic shows they can afford it. I didn't think about that, but that's probably right. It's definitely status jockeying behavior. No man on the planet likes lip fillers and butt implants. It's a psyop by mid women to take out the competition, probably. Most city women don't know what men actually want. Example, the camel eyelashes. No man has ever said that looks good. Yeah, I've noticed that. They seem kind of, the other thing about urban women is they seem kind of unconcerned with what men want. So this is a problem that Marie Antoinette had in her life. So Marie Antoinette, the French queen, was nobody ever told her no, and everything she ever people always fawned over her entire life. So she had this problem where she had no ability to consider the feelings of others. And that became a problem because then when people started rioting in the street and lopping people's heads off, she was like, fuck them. And so she died because she couldn't do that. And I think the problem is that we've got a bunch of like 4s to 6s who have that same attitude. Like it's not, and it's the women who urbanized. And I think the pipeline for that is they go from a rural area, they go to a college in a big city, and then they move to a big city to do because that's where you have to live, to do the job that your college degree can get you. So it's like boom, boom, boom. It's a pipeline to urbanization. And then these jobs are just like really, I mean, if you look at these made up laptop jobs, it's just like daycare to keep women childless. That's what they're for. Like, they're not contributing anything to the economy. That's why they're getting wiped out by AI. So it's like, and so, yeah. And so I think it's hard. And I think also in the days of like Amazon, it's hard to convince people that they can't get what they want, that what they want is something they can't have, because there's been so few other areas of their life where they were told no. I want to go to college. I want to hook up, and most of them, because they conflate like sexual interest with relationship interest. A lot of them think, because I've been able to fuck pretty much every guy I've ever wanted to fuck, I should be able to marry whatever guy I want to marry. Which I understand why they do that logically, but that's just a failure of understanding how men work, right? So, that's just it. So but it's hard to explain to them because they've gotten everything that they've wanted in life so far. It's hard to explain to them. It's like you probably can't marry the imaginary guy in your head because he doesn't exist. So that's hard for them to understand. And I'm sensitive to that to some degree. I get it. It's just you can't be mad at people for not understanding reality if people have been lying to them about reality their whole lives. And that's what happens when you get, brainwashed in college, and then you go to the city where everybody is miserable, and they don't understand that they're miserable because of their beliefs don't match reality. It's the source of their misery. They don't get that. But those people are so selfish that they don't actually seem to have the ability to consider the needs of others. You know, they don't have it. You know, so it's like, whereas like women in rural areas, I don't know if that's because it seems like women in cities want to be decorative and they don't necessarily qualify to be purely decorative. And women who are in more rural environments, because they have to do things, they don't expect a life where they don't have to do anything. Like, they're very realistic about life takes work. And it's especially true of like the women who grew up on farms. You see that. They're just like, life takes work. But then they want it. It's hard to, you know, they exist, but it's like, the other thing too is that that's fucked up is like most people who are good at relationships get married when they're supposed to. So that puts you in a tough situation if you're one of these like urbanite, you know, millennial women who's like still trying to date. It's like most people who are good at relationships, the people who are single are the fucked up ones. Respectfully to myself and others. Hold on. I think feminists think that men have locker room convos about DSL and shit means that they think that's wifey material because they don't understand men. That's a good point. And can I be honest with you? I've never heard a man say the phrase like DSL seriously. I don't like just leer at women and then sit around like her. Like, I just don't do that. I mean, maybe there's other men doing that, but I'm not just like, I don't just like stand around with, I ruin that when it happens in front of me. I think that's why I'm a fucking buzzkill. I'm like really that human being with parents and hopes and dreams all her own. That human being has big juicy ass. Check yourself. Which is, by the way, not a fun guy to hang out with. I understand that. I understand that makes me not fun. And I deal with it. Protect Cindy Sweetie at all costs. I gotta be honest, I do not like this culture war issue. I do not get the hype with Cindy Sweetie. I understand she's probably cool. I guess. I don't know, dude. I don't like this cultural practice of just like picking a random young woman to like sexually fixate on. It's just good, gross thing we do as a society. I know that makes people assume that I'm gay, but I don't know. She's cool. I also don't like that she's being attacked. You know, I mean, I don't want people being mean to her. And it's like, if she wants to make a jeans commercial, I guess that's fine. But she's at least, I will say this, at least that's she got picked with the male gaze in mind. I'll say that. As opposed to, yeah, and then I think women take a surprising amount of advice from gay men. I think that's because we don't tell women, we just like, you look great, you look great, you look great, you look great, please don't hurt me. Like, we would like reflexively compliment women to just like make sure that they don't become emotionally unstable. Or we do it for completely nefarious, self-interested reasons. Like, hey, you're hot, but what we're really saying is like, hey, let me smell them feet. You know what I mean? Like, it's not for real. So women are actually trying to construct an accurate perspective of how they look, and they're being lied to about it all the time. But gay men are very direct and insulting with what they think because they don't have anything to lose. I think you have to, here's the thing, this is one of my hot takes, I think you have to be attracted to women to like them. I really do. And so gay men, I think, fucking just hate them. And so they're just like fucking awful in terms of what they say to women about their appearance and stuff like that. So that I think influences a lot more. And that's also what drives mainstream fashion trends. I think it's completely disconnected from what men like. I think it's all about female competition. You see a similar thing with men too. Like, I think men often aspire to be way more ripped. Like, at some point with fitness, you reach a point of diminishing returns where getting more ripped would not make you substantially more attractive to the women you'd want to date. And you actually hit a point where it makes you less attractive. And then you can only date like muscle mommies. Nothing wrong with that. But closes off your options a little bit. Okay. And you don't need to be ripped to date muscle mommies. I don't spend too much time on muscle mommies, but you guys get where I'm going. The point is, I think men aspire to be more ripped than women actually find attractive, and I think that's because of just like that's what we think is cool, but it's not what they think is cool. But also, the dad bod discourse is complete bullshit. Their idea of dad bod is, Henry Cavill and Superman. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So, anyway, where are we at? My aunt-in-law is more plastic than flesh. She cares more about what the country club thinks than about her than anything else. Yeah, I think a lot of people are in that position. Big churchgoer too. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like that's the dealing with your public reputation in an environment where it's super gossipy and critical, and that's that competition between mostly women where that shit just doesn't go away. It's definitely a function of tight-knit communities like churches too. That's a bot. Women hold the keys for sex, men hold the keys to relationships. This is generally true. Yeah. Dark. Thanks, buddy. Okay. Audience is turned on me. Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business. You have a Cardi B waifu pillow back there. Mind your business. That's the first thing that came to mind, Jack Tarlad. This is a rumor. That's a salacious rumor about me, that I'm a foot person. That's a salacious rumor. Yeah, Vagabond is also a foot person. You guys have been great. Thank you for hanging out with me. This is a lot of fun. I didn't know we were going to have so much foot discourse today. But yeah, a lot of this is like intrasexual competition. I don't think I understood how vicious the competition was for women until like the last maybe like 2 or 3 years. It's rough, dude. It's rough, dude. I thought when women said, "Oh, I hate girls. I want to hang out with the guys because guys are no drama." I thought you guys were just bad at making friends. I did because listen, I thought you hanging out with your friends was like me hanging out with my friends, and me hanging out with my friends is awesome, and I have a great time, and every time I do it, I'm like, man, I can't wait to do that again, and it's fun and wonderful. So I thought that's what it was like for you. I was just do that, just don't. And you guys talk about the stuff you guys fight about. It's like just don't do that. Just stop. Just stop thinking that. Just stop. Just don't do that. That's how I approach it. But that's not how it is for you. They actually can't turn it off. It's not that they're bad at making friends. It's just like a woman will like pretend to be friends with you and then destroy you on purpose. And that's a crazy thing that they just do sometimes. And she'll do it for like a year. It'll be like a long con to destroy you. And it's like, why? Like, men don't do that. Like, I have stuff to do. Like I'm not going to befriend someone, and then dedicate significant amounts of time and thought and energy to destroying him. Like, I have stuff to do. Like, I have tasks. I have tasks. Like, my schedule is busy. If I don't get to it, no one's going to do it. So I don't have time to, think about what other men are wearing. Bro, and listen. Okay, so if me and my male friend show up at a venue and we're both wearing the same shirt, I'm like, oh, same shirt. And I'm going to dap them up. Women cannot handle wearing the same outfit for some reason. They don't like it. They're like, I understand that it invites comparison. But I don't know. I can't relate. I can't relate. My brain does not function that way. But, they can't help it, I think. Oh, fuck. Emily's here. What's up, girl? How you doing? Yeah. Let's see. Are there any more chats? Let's see. What did we miss? Let's see. After we're through with Theo on Sunday nights, you'll have an anime waifu body pillow. No, I will not. You're not gonna get me. A lot of men watching you sleep at night on the wall. Eggs, bat sauce. I also got Patrice O'Neal in the corner. He's just not on camera. I gotta fix that. Let's see. So women are more evil than men. Now remember, she said that. I didn't say that. I was just thinking it. I think they're no. Here's what it is. I think men and women are the same amount evil, but the way that men are evil is like physical violence and property crime, and our whole society is structured around understanding that that's bad and putting in measures to stop it. And there's no similar focus on the ways that women do evil. And women do an equal amount of evil as men, but it doesn't look like violence and property crime. It looks like gossiping and reputation destruction and the T-app. That's what it looks like when women are doing bad stuff. Like that stuff can be really damaging to a community, and it can really hurt people. And that's here's the thing. That's why women have to do it. And they have to stay sharp, is because if they don't learn to defend themselves against those kind of attacks, then they're just going to be victimized by women who want to take them out. Like, they have to develop some teeth. And that's why it's easier for a lot of the, more independent minded, self-possessed women who attract a lot of jealousy. It's just easier for them to just hang out with men. That's why I think that's the missing piece of, by the way, to circle back to dating for a second. I think this is a missing piece of the male friends discourse. There are male friends that women have that are just trying to fuck them. But for some women, all their friends are dudes, and the dynamic actually isn't like a fucking dynamic. Like, there's a difference between being friends with your on-again, off-again ex-boyfriend of 9 years that you've known since high school. I have a problem with you being friends with that guy, right? But if it's just... there's some women where if you say they can't have male friends, they're not going to have any friends because like they just fucking can't stand women. Every time they're around women, it gets tense and hostile and shitty. And I don't think men appreciate that enough. It's like, I understand, like, there's a difference between dudes that are like orbiting and like obviously want to fuck your girl. That's different. And unfortunately, we're a society that like does not know how to delineate nuance. But that's kind of a, okay, hold on. Let's see. What else we got? Everybody saying hi to Emily. What's up? How do you bait with all those dudes and Jesus watching you from the walls? That's a great question. No, I try not to. I think that helps him, Jack. Thanks, buddy. No, I try not to. I'm actually... I try not to do my best. I think you should, it's actually like better for creativity to do that a little bit infrequently. And I think it helps you focus and it fills you with energy. That's the other thing. Yeah, I think porn is bad too. I don't have time to talk about that right now. I don't have anything prepared about that, but like, yeah, that's shitty. Don't do it. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's why I'm so, energetic. And that's why I keep knocking back energy drinks. That's why that helps. It's like, I still got to let myself have some joy. I quit so many things that are fun. So many things I don't do anymore. I'm reluctant to quit energy drinks because it's like the one thing that like brings me a little bit of fucking joy. But no, some people have pointed out that it's like super bad for you and will make you not live as long. So I should probably quit. Does anybody have any questions they want me to answer? I've been doing this for like an hour and a half. Does anybody have questions? I want to do like a Q&A format at some point, but I don't know if anybody gives a shit. So we'll find out. A gay sadist. Like watching it, especially happening. God damn. Jack Tarlad, why are you reading my mind? That's crazy. I told you that in confidence. Yeah, dude. Let's see. What else did I have pulled up? Oh, hey, did you guys keep track? Did you guys hear about the e-girl like wedding ring thing where we talked about that a little bit on Touch Grass, but basically Sarah Stock, who is the internet's hottest Nazis, she is getting married, and so she posted a picture of her wedding ring, and every right-wing e-girl came out of the internet to shit on her. And we talked about this on the show and how all of these right-wing e-girls are like not traditional, or they're not remotely conservative. They're just like they're hot enough to be hot on the internet, but they're not hot to be just hot. They got to be hot and one other thing. And Pearl Davis is not even hot, by the way. She's in on this, and she's just like, her whole shtick is just like, they hate women, and women are responsible for everything, and women are evil. I gotta be honest, it totally works on me. I fucking love Pearl. I don't want to. I know it's bullshit. I know I shouldn't like her. I know she's bad. I know she's like bad for the discourse. I know she's like bad for society. I know, gal. I know. You don't think I know? I know. But I'm hitting raw and leaving it in, respectfully. That's how I feel. I can't change how I feel. This is just, that's my, no, listen. This is I understand how you feel about this. I understand. And I also understand that you're right. You're right. But this is how my caveman brain feels. This is not anything I can control. Just, I look at that, and my first thought is pregnant. That's how I feel. I can't change that. Anyway, so with the discourse on that has continued. Let me pull this up. Let me make sure my DMs are closed. Because that was something I did last time. This is some chick named something. I don't know. This is another right-wing chick. We're going to see what she says, and then we're going to talk about it for a bit. Oh, wait, hold on. It's not playing. That's my bad. Hold on. I thought it was playing that whole time. That's why I was just staring at the screen saying nothing. I'm bad at this. I need a producer. This is crazy. All right, go ahead.
Isabella Maria DeLuca said, why is it so small, LOL? Okay. I'm sorry. Does the size of the freaking rock on your finger show other women and everyone else how much your husband loves you, or your future husband will love you? This is something, guys, that I have felt so strongly about even when I was an atheist, immoral bitch. Why do you want to have a big wedding? Why do bitches post photos of their rings to prove to everyone else, oh my gosh, we're so perfect? We need to showcase and prove to so many other people.
All right, that's enough of that. Do you see how she's like pretending? Can you guys tell how she's pretending? Do you see how that's like fake for the camera? What's up, Vagabond? Vagabond's getting out of here. Take care, man. But do you see how that's... Mind your business, Bat Sauce. Over her mouth. Gal, I told you about my kinks in confidence. You were not supposed to repeat them in the chat. Thank you. Please keep that to yourself. That's mind your business, Bad Sauce. That's hilarious. Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, but you see how that's fucking just fake? That's completely fake and performative. Yeah, you guys are both full of shit. I'll take them, both of you on. This is like, I'm telling you, this is happening at a caveman brain level. It's the same part of me that recognize, like, of all the conservative e-thoughts, though, is she not the best that we have available? I think so. This is like, because it's like, here's the thing. She's also fake, right? Like, everything she's saying is also fake. And I know it's all fake to impress me. What's crazy is that they released a group chat, which was all these bitches in one chat trying to argue, like trying to set up a time to like do like a X space and just get on there and just yell at each other on video. They were just gonna hop on a live and yell at each other, and they were in a group chat trying to schedule it. So this is all like professional wrestling. Like they're not actually mad at each other. And they're just being horrible. Like one girl said to Pearl, that's like, oh, you fuck black guys and probably have AIDS, which is like not a nice thing to say, obviously. But, you know, one of them is just true. The other one is just mean and a little racist. But Theo should just recognize that I'm always right. No, thank you. That's right. Gal, our right-wing ethot in residence is the best right-wing ethot on the internet. That's right. That's sorry. I forgot about you. I can't believe I forgot about you. That was my bad. I think you are the best conservative ethot, Theo. Thank you, Bats. But as discussed, Gal is the best conservative ethot. Oh, man. Yeah, it's tough. It's like, no, don't agree with him. Don't team up. No, we had a different thing going. Now I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like that the chat is getting along over mocking me. I didn't know that was going to be part of this. All right. Well, that's been fun. Yeah, this has been rad. So like what I'm saying is like basically every woman on the internet is fake, and that's it. That's the thing. I run into this a lot too, where people take me at face value until they. I think when they meet me, they think because I said something in comedy or I said something on a stream when I was like doing a bit or something, or I was trying to be funny, that's what my personality is like the whole time. And so then I don't know what that's about. That's like I think most people take things at face value, and the problem with taking these internet conservatives at face value is that everything they're doing is to attract a simp army that they can monetize. So they will say whatever they have to get people to like call them hot on a social media platform. Like they'll do just whatever they have to, and you look really stupid if that's what you're doing. Nobody leave hard eyes in. Did any of these bitches X replies? No, Mrs. Right, but a ton of Mrs. Right now. Yeah, a lot of these women are like recreational use only for sure. But like again, I don't advocate for recreational use. Sport fucking is not a good thing to do. Don't do that. It's bad for society. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? What's up, roguish nerd? Please don't. Okay. I just said specifically don't. That's good. That's good. Do you guys remember earlier when I said don't leave hard eyes in Ethot's comments, and then roguish nerd just left hard eyes? This is great. Excellent. Well done. Best conservative. I should put that in my bio. Right there. Actually, I've gotten a lot of the best things about my bio I got from you people. Final Boss of Fuckboys came from you guys. Fuckboy Jesus came from you guys. Philandering Train Hobo was from a different person. That was a fun one. That's probably the funniest thing anyone's ever called me. It's a former philandering train hobo. I did live on a train for a bit. That's a real story. That's how I know that women don't actually care about money as much as they pretend they do. I think money is a proxy for security. There are some women who care about money. I'm not saying no women care about money. But if you don't have money, that will not stop you. You just got to date people who like you. You just got to date people who like what you're doing. And if you're doing something, that makes it super easy to find people. Because a lot of guys are doing nothing. So if you're doing anything, you'll find people who are interested in what you're doing. Anything you do, some woman will come up and be like, what are you doing? and she'll try to fiddle. It'll happen. For real. So if you don't have any, seriously, if you don't have any women paying attention to you and you want women to pay attention to you, just go start doing something. And some woman will come up behind you and tell you how you're doing it wrong. They don't care about buddy when it's fuckboys, serious relationship. Fair enough. There is some like a dual mating strategy here where some people will just like fuck you if you're cool. But like also a lot of women, and we've all seen it, will invest a counterproductive amount of time into a man who's basically like a financial dead end because they think they can turn it around because the sex is really good. If you guys heard of a hobosexual, it's a man who's exchanging dick for a place to live. And unfortunately, that is a great way to get a woman's emotions stirred up. And if she gets like attached to you emotionally, then you can kind of, some men, not that I've ever done this, can kind of create some financial security and like housing stability in their lives by like throwing it down. And so, yeah, it's like if you want to have a good relationship, then you know, money matters. And like potential, if you have no money now, you should probably have potential at least. You should have a plan. If you're going to ask somebody to, you know, co-sign your plan, then you should have a plan. But, oh, thank you, Diana. That's super nice. I didn't know you're still here. Thank you. Yeah. So but the amount of, we've all seen women dump a bunch of time into losers. And what I say to guys is you could be that loser. That could be you. You could be the loser. Anyway, Roguish Nerd says, I have a day one female electrician apprentice try to correct me on some electrician shit. The correction cost a day's labor. If the money isn't there now, but the ambition and dedication is, sane women will ride or die properly. Yeah, but okay. This is a little no true Scotsman, though. I do think there are women who still have that mindset, but Jack. Wait, I could be that loser? Don't get my hopes up. That was a good one. Yeah, I think going back to what Gal said, there are women who have that mindset, but I think you're kidding yourself if you don't think that's super rare. I think a lot of women want men now that come pre-assembled. Well, and the thing with that is, so the women now who are like dating age, so let's say 25 to 35, which is like adult. That's the adult dating pool, essentially. You know, let's just say that. Because that really, life really changes for after that point for people. So, yeah, if that's a lot of women who are in that demographic have been on the receiving end of special treatment since that started in elementary school, which kind of like pushed them at the head at the expense of men. So a lot of them have jobs, even if it's like a made up bullshit laptop job, they have a job that makes them feel like they're part of an aristocracy and has afforded them the opportunity to like have a certain lifestyle. Now, that came at the expense of opportunities for men. So a lot of men got kind of pushed out of the economy, and those women still want to date guys that are more successful than them. That's why like men who are successful, like we are talking about earlier, they don't have a problem dating women who are not doing as well financially. In fact, they prefer it. And I think women prefer that too. But now we've created a scenario where a lot of women are doing stupendously well financially, even if it's in kind of like a bullshit way. And it's due to kind of the government putting a thumb on the scale, even if that's part of it. They don't see that. They think it's the opposite. They think that they believe this anti-truth that they succeeded. They had to work 10 times as hard to succeed half as much as a man, when really they've just been like pushed ahead. So they're successful, and they think any man who's not as successful as them is just lazy and not, you know, taking advantage of his male privilege. So they don't feel that. And also they don't understand that like people don't just give things to men. Like women who are successful, it's like they got the Women in STEM scholarship and the women's leadership coordinator position, and they had all of these biases that selected in their favor. So people just gave them shit, and if they're hot, then people just like give them stuff all the time. Give them free stuff. Anybody above a 6 is getting stuff for free. Even 4s are getting stuff for free, you know, for just being a chick. And they think that it works the same way for men, and they don't understand how brutal male competition can be and how ruthless it can be, and it's not free. So yeah, and I think a lot of women are, because they're programmed by the culture, they just they inherently kind of don't respect men that they perceive as not doing enough. And even if they can recognize the potential in the future, they just don't necessarily want to wait. And I also think maybe that's a depression indicator, that I think women are prioritizing being financially established right now today over ambition in a way that maybe they didn't previously. Because even if you're doing super well, like you're not like, if you live in a big city now and you make a 6-figure income and you're still not living a lavish lifestyle on that, because big cities are very expensive to live in. So, and you know, the currency's not quite what it was. So I understand why people are prioritizing that in dating, but like, no, I don't think that's most women now. There are a few. I don't want to completely discount it. But hold on. What is the chat saying? I've just been chatting. I've never done this. No one's buying that. Sane women are rare. That's a fact. Yes, bingo. That's why we appreciate you so much, gal. I'm not pre-assembled, but I am an easy build. Snap together kit. No glue required. That's the thing, is I do think women avoid guys that have failed repeatedly. And what you don't understand is, like, every time you fail, it will take you less time to get started at your next thing, because you can carry the lessons forward. So every humiliating failure, and the more humiliating the failure, the better, because then you're going to remember the lessons better. So that's actually awesome. So the more humiliating failures a man has on his resume and he's still trying, the closer he is to getting to his next thing. And humiliating failure makes you just immune to rejection. So you can just get stuff, dude, like that. It's a good attitude. Repeated failure shows persistence, as long as there's like a demonstrated pattern of ability to learn. And people, I think women don't understand that. Like, they don't understand like how trajectories work. I don't know what that's about. Boom. Let's see. Makes a 6. Sanity makes a 6 go to a 10, gal. So maybe one day you'll get there. Oh, okay. That's not rude as fuck. Sanity does make a 6 go to a 10. That is true. Like, just like meeting a girl who doesn't have brainworms, I cannot tell you how refreshing that is. When you do get an opportunity to meet a woman who like doesn't have brainworms, it's like, yeah, men and women are different. It's crazy. It's like you're walking through the mall and it's just mannequins, like a Twilight Zone episode, and then you see another human. That's literally what it feels like. It's terrible, especially for me. I'm speaking from personal experience, because, you know, doing comedy, I always like to talk to people after the show, because that's how you get better. You figure out what people are talking about, how they reacted to what you said. So that's how you get better. It's important to me. I pay way more attention to audience than I do to, like, the audience reaction is the whole point. So you pay attention to that. So I always talk to people after the show. It's usually women who want to talk to me, just how it is. And they all think different versions of the same stuff. So when you meet one that's different, it's like, well, it's not hooked up to the sisterhood or whatever, or has her own like independent thoughts, or is not like just obviously not a herd animal. That's a fucking great thing. What really sucks though is a lot of these contrarian women end up going hard feminist, and that's a bummer. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I got to interact with the chat. What's up, guys? In my experience, all the good women have been snatched up. That might be true. I'm sorry, Jack. Don't pity him. Evolution has selected him to be a deadhead. Let it be. Respect the choice. Call me a failure. The fuck? No. I mean, I am, but you don't get to say it. Matt Law, your confidence. Where did Matt Law? You guys are funny. You guys are fun. What are we doing? Bro, I've been doing this for like an hour 50. Viewers are down. So, yeah, I'll just like wrap it up on... Does anybody want to ask me anything? I was really hoping there'd be more questions in the chat. Don't tell Diana how to be. She could be her sweet self all she wants. No, there's too much of that going around. We got to be way like meaner as a society. People got to suck it up. Like, for real. We got to stop being nice to people. I got an argument the other day. I was talking to my communist friend who I love dearly. She was mad at me because I said that the left keeps losing elections because they ruin society. And so she got mad at me for saying that. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, okay. Yeah. Joseph A. making a great point. Hold on, Strider. What was your question? Are church women worth pursuing? Okay, that's a good question. Thank you. Yeah, okay. I have mixed feelings about this. So it depends on what church you're going to. So, like, okay, because remember that video we watched at the beginning where it was like, hey, you know what's really hot? Priests and not fucking your husband. You know what we love? Not having sex. Like, that's just, like, not a good incentive for a man to get married in, like, a church where no sex happens before marriage. And apparently no sex is going to happen after marriage either. Like, that's, bro, this is why men are not going to church. And a lot of the stuff that happens in church is just... because women are the ones that go to church, it's a lot of pandering. Because if you piss off women, they'll fucking leave and they'll go somewhere that panders harder. And churches live and die with people actually going to church. So if you don't pander to women, then they're just going to leave your church. But if you do pander to women, then you're not telling them the truth. So it depends. What do you care more about? And you got to be at a church that cares more about telling the truth. And that, unfortunately, is going to vary. And not just by denomination, by like individual church. Because I'm Catholic and I love being Catholic, but there's some whack-ass Catholic churches, dude. I've heard priests talking about like marginalized people and our LGBTQIA brothers and sisters. Like, I've heard that shit from the pulpit. And it's like, this is not the place for me. You know, you got to roll on that. But, and then, well... And so I can speak to the Catholic experience. Like, there's basically two kinds of Catholic women. There are Catholic women that are like turbo woke for some reason, and they're like Catholic, but they're Catholic nominally, but all of their beliefs are the beliefs of the Democrat Party or left-wing politics, even more so than the Democrat Party. So it's like, I don't know how they square that with being Catholic exactly. I don't think necessarily there's no party affiliations like mutually exclusive, but there's a lot of women who in Catholic churches right now who are like zealous advocates for abortion and birth control, and that's not what it's for, you know. But so they're either like turbo leftists, which is annoying, or they have, you know, big homeschool energy, and they're like, I've noticed that. There are not a ton of they've been in the church the whole time, and maybe they were homeschooled or whatever. And also the other thing too is that a lot of women who are in church are married because they got married when they were supposed to. Like, women who are like in my age demographic have like 6 kids already, you know, because they got married when they were supposed to. So that's the other thing too. So you're looking for women who are coming back to church after hoeing, and it's like, do they mean it? Or are they just looking for hoe coverage? We were talking about negative. Hold on. That's not. I said society needed to be meaner earlier. She said that's not being so nice and understanding towards women, Theo. Tripped. Fuck. God, she's good at those. Who asked you to be here? Anyway. My church seems decent, not poisoned by comic bullshit. That's why I asked. Yeah, and that's if you're in a church that matches your values and you meet a woman who is sitting in that same church, you can safely assume that she has those same values. But a lot of women are going to church for the social aspect. And we talked about the auntie who was doing all the plastic surgery because of the church hands who are going to take her out. Like, a lot of women, that's where they get their socializing from. So it's not like a values thing. It's like a community involvement thing. So you got to figure out why they're there. And that's what's tricky for me too, is like, I'm a very mystical Catholic. Like, I like the praying part and the incense and the chanting, and like the ritual is the whole point. Like, that's how I interface with the divine. And it's very, very, very important to how I orient my life. Not everybody who goes to Catholic church feels that way. Some people are just there because that's what they do socially. That's, so they don't necessarily share my values. I also think that, okay, all right, Professor Savage Dad. Call me a Catholic hippie. Welcome, friend of the channel, Professor Savage Dad. Yeah, but I also don't necessarily think you have to 100% share values at the beginning, because I think if you are really firm in your values and you have a really good sense of where you're going and you have a well-defined plan, a lot of women will just get on the program. Because a lot of women don't want to come up with their own program. They want to get on a program. So if you can speak with a lot of confidence and a lot of purpose and a lot of direction, and you demonstrate over time that you're like working on stuff, a lot of women will just like jump on board with that, because it's like they don't want to think of their own thing to do. They kind of want to join somebody who's already doing something and then help with that. And then I've heard a bunch of my friends talk about how their wives like started off very leftist and gradually red-pilled over time. And I think that is going to be what happens when a lot of women disconnect from the sisterhood. I find that happens when women get married, especially after they have children. They tend to red pill pretty hard. And the most based, like, psychotically anti-feminist people I know are all married women, with the notable exception of Gal. What's up? But yeah, that's, I don't know. So I've have mixed feelings about church women, because I guess it depends on meeting women at church. If that's an extension of meeting people through family and friends, there's not a lot of church women looking for men with man buds. You'd be surprised. I actually did okay with church girls. It just, it's hard to meet someone who was going to understand my life experiences. Like, somebody who's like, devoutly Catholic and 25 and single is not going to have the same life experiences that I've had, and my life experiences aren't really going to make any sense to her. Like, she doesn't really know what she's looking at, that's a bummer, but I have to kind of, yeah. They were slutty church IRL. Yeah, that's true. There's not a lot of church. Hold on. Where'd we go? You're welcome. No, I don't know. They're like, and that's the thing, is like, a lot of women, that is like a late stage thing. This is something in stand-up comedy too, is a lot of women start stand-up comedy in their late 30s. And it's usually it's usually because they're not getting the attention they're used to from their looks alone. So they're like, hey, pay attention to me. And you can kind of tell. Like, a lot of people start stand-up for that reason, because they want somebody to be like, hey, pay attention to me. A lot of people do that. But yeah, so and church lady is like another hoe retirement. Stand-up comedy is a type of hoe retirement. Church lady is another hoe retirement, where, when you're done riding the cock carousel and you want better life outcomes, you switch over, and then you try to talk to some guy and be like, make him wait for marriage because he owns multiple real estate properties, but he's like a turbo virgin. And then because you're hotter than he could do on the open market, you can get a relationship that can kind of where you just control him and call all the shots, and then you get control of all his financial assets, and you can get some security. So really, hoes win twice. Because they win in the short term when they get like ran through by the Los Angeles Lakers, and then they win in the long term because they can just like go to church and like marry a church guy who's willing to wait for marriage. And then, as we learned from the video previously in the show, they're not going to have sex during the marriage either. You know what the hottest thing on a man is? Celibacy. Not getting laid. Bro, you can't say shit like that out loud. Dude. Anyway. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of single women. That's right. A lot of single women starting to stand up in their late 30s. It's very rare that women whose marriages are going well jump into stand up. I've seen a lot of girls get divorced and then jump straight into stand up. Seen that happen like 3 or 4 times. Men do that too, though. Sometimes men get divorced and jump straight into stand up. Conservative thought is hoe retirement. That's true. We're talking about that at the top of the show. Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's crazy though. I don't know. The conservative thought thing is so fascinating because I don't know, there's a lot of diversity on the right now and there's a lot of movement. So the right is a weird place because there's people who are super religious and there's people who are not religious at all. And there's people who are like tech futurists that think we're going to, transcend our physical forms and like exist digitally on the internet. And then there's people who are, serious thinkers on the right. The right is like a very like fun place. And there's like legit Nazis too now. That didn't exist before. There's legit fascists on the right now. And that's kind of a weird ecosystem where like fascists are out in public. It's like, oh, okay, all right. We're figure out where things settle down now. Like these are some thoughts we haven't entertained in the last century or so, and now they're coming back. That's pretty cool. I mean, not cool, but interesting. And so then there's a bunch of women who are like, hey, would you guys like some prostitutes? And men historically have not said no to that. So they show up and they're like, hey, here we are. And that they can build a following. And it's also like not that hard to know what to say because repeating conservative talking points robotically is not like a hard thing to do. And you can kind of guess reflexively what your takes should be to keep your audience happy. And then as long as you keep your audience happy and keep presenting something for them to simp for, then you can kind of like make a decent living out of that. I think it's hard that these thought leaders have become thought leaders. Whoa, that was a bar. Somebody clip that. Thought leaders becoming thought leaders. Oh, so good. So good. So good. You guys hear that? Do you guys hear that? Thought leaders becoming thought leaders? That's incredible. You're welcome. Anyway, but they're not like serious people. But they put them on like debates. They'll put them on Piers Morgan or whatever because we like watching them cat fight. And they don't have any like real thoughts, and they're not like logically tenable. That's the. By the way, I have a Streamlabs tip jar at the top. I forgot to mention that. I was supposed to mention that at the beginning of the show and like mention it periodically throughout. We're here at the 2-hour mark, and I haven't mentioned it once. If you think I deserve to live inside, feel free to send some money. All right. Let's see. What are we doing? Let's see. I wouldn't fuck Lila Rose with your dick. Bro, be nice to her. I'd like her to come on the show someday. There's a lot of diversity in hoeing, yes. Fascism's weird collectivist thing I find to be a bit more left, maybe far right. Yeah, that's a good point. And there's a very horseshoeing aspect to fascism where actually like fascists and socialists, one of the reasons, okay, so there's this weird symbiotic relationship between fascists and crazy woke leftists. They love to fight each other, and each one serves as a recruiting tool for the other. When a fascist says something scary, the woke use that to recruit, and when the woke say something crazy, the fascists use that to recruit. The reason there are people who are not scared of being called Nazis now is because you called Mitt Romney a Nazi. That's why. It's because they called Mitt Romney a Nazi. That's why. That's the moment everybody broke. Because John McCain was, you shouldn't have called him a Nazi either. They called George Bush a Nazi too. You shouldn't use that, right? But the founding fathers used to do the same thing with Julius Caesar, by the way. So, by the way, fun story. There's this anecdote about Hamilton where he went over to Thomas Jefferson's house, and Thomas Jefferson had some paintings on the wall of like famous dudes, like John Locke was one or whatever, people Jefferson admired. And I was like, these are the best dudes ever, and I have them on my wall. And Hamilton's like, you forgot Julius Caesar, which was at the time was the equivalent of making a Hitler joke. So he said this in jest, which is, by the way, fucking Hamilton's my guy. Like, that's great. He's one of us. Hamilton's one of us. Like, by the way, he and Jefferson did not like each other. So he was just kind of like, And people were like, Alexander, please, this is serious. This is my home. And so, but anyway, they printed that later as an allegation against Hamilton. Like, he said that and meant it. And that was the big thing against Hamilton, was that he was, that he wanted like a monarchy or a dictatorship or like a top-down, like a really top-down powerful executive. And that was the big knock against him his whole career. What was I talking about before that? I think it was whores. Fascism. Right. Okay. So you call people a Nazi, right, enough times, and they're like, I'm not a Nazi. And then they called Mitt Romney a Nazi. And you guys don't remember Mitt Romney. Does anybody remember Mitt Romney? Mitt Romney was the most inoffensive Republican to ever exist in the history of time. He was a Mormon. He was the governor of Massachusetts, and he was really famous for organizing the Utah Olympics when that happened. Then he was the governor of Massachusetts, and then he ran the most ineffective Republican campaign in the history of time. And Mitt Romney, the other thing too, Mitt Romney looks like if aliens were going to design a president skin suit and then step into it and move it with levers. He looks like a president. He talks like a president. He's just like the most like normal dude ever. And they said he was a Nazi who was going to send us back to, who's going to take away all the women's rights and all that stuff. And they were hysterical with it. And then they called everybody online who was 2 steps right of Karl Marx a Nazi for like 15 years. And eventually, 15 years later, you have guys who are voting age and are young adults now, and they don't care at all about being called a Nazi. And they think that you have ruined society, and they think you stole their future from them, and you've been shitting on them in the school system nonstop from the time they were very young, and they're tired of hearing it. And one of the things that they did while they did that was they made it so that the word Nazi wasn't quite as scary. And I think they also drove a lot of curiosity about alternative political philosophies. And since a lot of these people got driven straight towards right-wing authoritarianism, because it was like, what is the most what is the most offensive thing I could be that would trigger the left the most? I'm going to be that because I hate them so much. And I think the left has like a similar relationship with Nazis. Anyway, what was I going to say? It's the cost of freedom. It allowed for good and bad ideas to exist in the same sphere. And hoes. Bingo. Bingo. It was a good line until you mentioned it so much. Well, you host a fucking show then. Shouldn't you be like reading a book on camera somewhere? Jesus Christ. Thoughts don't have clear thoughts. They just sound like Lila Rose, sluts that tripped over a Bible on the way out of the best hotel. They got their ass plowed in. Jesus Christ. Lila Rose, disavow. Lila Rose, please come on the show. Would love to have you on the show. Bro, if I get Lila Rose on the show, Chad needs to be nice. That was crazy. man. Oh, man. This has been fun. Let's see. What other chats do we have? Right. Gal is right. You don't ask for something to be clipped. You say something good and then someone else clips it. Be organic. You know what? Shut up. You host your own phone. Should you be ranting in a car somewhere? Yeah, and Mid is obviously a cuck and not a Nazi. Yeah, that's the point. Is like calling him a Nazi made it clear that you weren't serious. Because he's not. He's cucked. And conservatives hated him. That was the point. I didn't mention that. Conservatives fucking hated Mitt Romney. No one felt really... Like, people thought he was like a big giant pussy. And he's from Massachusetts. Like, that's not... Like, nobody trusted him to be an authentic advocate for conservative beliefs. And he was running against Obama, and Obama was really popular at that time. My dad does not understand the popularity of Obama. I had to explain it to him because he says all these like really niche energy based reasons why he thinks Obama was a bad president. And I'm like, okay, but like nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody understands policy. Hamilton, can you stop writing all that fan fiction? It's getting gay. His peers probably. Yeah. Oh, shit. Who is Lila Rose anyway? Okay, so Lila Rose is a good question. She was the chick from the beginning who was doing the Don't Fuck Your Husband podcast. And she's mostly known for her anti-abortion advocacy and her debate skills. She's pretty solid in the anti-abortion space. She's catching a lot of shit for this take today on Twitter. And I saw that right when I woke up and I was taking a shit. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll talk about this on the show today. Then I realized like my audience doesn't know who this person is. So there's like zero overlap between people who care about this and people who are going to watch this show. So that puts me in a tricky situation because I want to talk about things that people give a shit about. But like, yeah, it's a huge problem where they just don't think about how this stuff is gonna sound after they say it. And because a part of the problem is when women talk to each other, they're just like, right, exactly. Right, yes. Oh, yes. I have felt that with my husband. They don't push back and say like, oh, let me, push back on you so you can strengthen this. What would you say to? There's nothing like that. So they end up spitting out in just like a retarded direction where you end up talking about how hot this priest is and how hot it is to not have sex with your husband. So there's your answer on church girls, I guess. That's... Do you guys want to talk about anything else? I'm just kind of sitting here. This has been a lot of fun, but does anyone give a shit that this is happening? Let's see. Just because we don't know her doesn't mean it can't be a topic that's important, dork. Okay. All right. I'm trying to like say things that people are interested in. I don't necessarily want to like bully them into caring about the stuff I care about. I've noticed that. Most people don't care about the things I care about. I guess I could be an agenda setter. Do you guys get thought leaders becoming thought leaders on a t-shirt? We got to do that. That was great. I had sex with my wife twice today just because Lila's shitty take based Professor Savage Dad. By the way, shout out to MSK. Always talking about fucking his wife. Yeah, but that's garbage. This is why people... So there's a lot going against marriage right now. One of the things that goes against marriage is that people are scared of divorce. Particularly men are very scared of divorce, but I don't think like women are psyched about divorce either. Two, a lot of people think that the day-to-day of marriage inherently sucks. And just something that just happens as a result of getting married is that all of the excitement and fun in your life dies. I don't think that's true. It is true for some people, but I don't think that's true for everybody. And I think, marriage has gotten a very bad rap over the past like 20 years or so. And part of that was just boomers nonstop bitching about how much they hated being married. So I think millennials heard that and just kind of ran with it. I have heard some data indicating that Gen Z is getting married younger and staying married. And it's like, oh, well, they haven't been married in a long time. It's like, yeah, but they're clearing the first few off ramps. Like there's those first benchmarks where divorces happen. And then if you're together past a certain point, then you're more likely to stay together for the long haul. So I do think I think the trend is away from dating apps and more towards committed monogamous relationships. The people I talk to are just like sick to shit of how things are. I think for millennial women, it's hard to let go of it because they got to just like take the L. Because the emotional pain of realizing you've been lied to and you shouldn't have, racked up a huge body count and that actually hurt you and that you're actually in a position where you're probably not going to get what you want. And if you did get what you want, it wouldn't make you happy. So you have to kind of like reformulate the whole way you think about reality. Like that's painful. Most people can't do that. They don't have the cognitive toolkit. So let's see. Let's see. IDK, I go on shows without knowing what the topic might be, but have good convos once we talk about it. Sounds interesting, maybe. Can you, can we just talk about this later? Stop. Can we stop picking apart the game, Phil, before the game is over? Thank you. Oh, I'm back. I had sex with my wife. Excellent. Let's see. I can tell you for a fact that marriage doesn't have to be a lack of excitement and be tedious. You can choose not to be that way. And boomers were the worst examples of how to do it. Yeah, and I also think the boomer generation is inordinately selfish as far as people go. That's true. And part of that's how they were raised in their relationship with pop culture. I do wonder, that's the first generation where we put people in front of TVs, especially kids. The first generation where we put kids in front of the TV and just left them. And I do wonder if that made them more selfish. I don't know. There's a lot of factors that go into boomer selfishness, but they took that into their relationships for sure. In terms of, a lot of us saw that with our parents. How many millennials grew up with like divorced boomer parents who fucking hated each other? And it's one of the reasons it's so easy for, there's a trend among millennials cutting off your parents, and it's encouraged by therapy culture. One of the reasons that's so easy is because boomers are such a pain in the ass to deal with. Like, it's very easy to, there are not enough clinical narcissists for every millennial to have narcissistic parents. But the reason it's so easy to convince millennials that their parents are narcissists is because boomers are mad fucking selfish and difficult to deal with. And I don't know. I also think Gen Z paid attention to what millennials went through with dating apps. And then they went through it kind of in their own way. But they're also looking ahead to oh, fuck, the millennials are going through it. We better take a different path. And good for them for doing that. I also, there's also the people. So there's a ton of people who are just not dating at all. They're totally checked out. So I don't know what to do about that. It's I think there's some people who, this is why I'm saying meeting people through friends and family is the right way to start, because I don't think cold approach fixes this. I think this bullying men into cold approaching women who are not open to being cold approached is just a retarded idea. It's very stupid. I think the right way to do this is improving your general networking skills and meet people through friends and family. And the problem is a bunch of people are not super close don't have any friends, and they're not super close with their family. So it's you got to start at square one, and square one of make a fucking friend doesn't get you pussy, but you will get pussy downstream of that. But you're not going to get your pussy just hanging, just making a friend. And it starts with the humiliating step of going somewhere by yourself and not knowing anyone. And that's excruciating. No one likes doing that. That sucks. But downstream of that is good things. I don't know. I think we bubble wrapped everything for Gen Z, and that kind of fucked them up. I want to do a Comic Vale show called MSK All Stars just with... That's funny. Shout out to MSK, friend of the channel. Love you, bro. Wouldn't be here without you, actually. Wouldn't be here without you. Came from his show to Rogues. Yeah, that's right. We all basically graduated from the MSK pipeline and ended up in the Rogues Gallery. I am rarely bored, but I strive for boring. When we get married, have kids, advance your careers, buy homes, etc., life gets busy as fuck. Yeah, and very meaningful. And then you can look back at all the cool shit you did. That's the point. That's what it fucks me up when people say kids don't lead to happiness. It's like, that's not why you do it. Like, kids don't, and what they mean by happiness, because remember what the left cares about? The left thinks the most important thing is your present tense emotional state. It's how you feel right now is the most important thing. What it means is kids don't make you happy right now. Sometimes they make you feel stress. And it's like, but it's a really meaningful thing to do. But the concept of meaning is lost on the left because at the center of it is nihilism. So they think nothing has meaning and nothing is pointless. Everything is pointless. And being like procreating is just like mindlessly propagating the human species, and humanity's a virus anyway. We should all have small families because climate change, right? So they don't understand. They just don't get it. So if you say it doesn't, no, it does make you anxious right now, but it also feels it's good to do, and it'll make your life meaningful in the long run. And then you get to have this cool experience of, passing on your lineage, and it changes the way you look at the world, and that you one day you will have grandchildren, and that's a whole nother life stage, and it's a fullness. Because that doesn't contribute to like moment to moment hedonism. They don't have like a lens to understand that. You sound crazy to them. They feel bad for you, which is crazy. That's crazy. If you have kids in a family and you're going through it, the left pities you and says, "Ugh, glad I don't have to do that." And it is, pitiable to an extent, but like you're doing one of the most magnificent things you will ever do, and something that's going to like fill your life with meaning. So it's like, but they don't have a lens to understand that, because they only care about your present emotional state. Based. I am weird for a millennial though. Married, content with my wife, and I have zero complaints. Yeah, that's pretty rare. Like, shout out to Professor Savage, Dad. Let's see. I feel bad for my little brother. He gave up on dating. How old is your little brother, Savage? Kids are peak adult, and they hate the Dalton. Yeah. Kids are cool. My kid just dinosaur roars constantly when at the store. That's hysterical. That's true. No, kids are crazy, man. I don't have any kids. I just I get to interact with other people's kids periodically. It's cool. They're interesting. They have their own little thoughts about the world and how it works. And that's the part I find interesting. I was like, what do they think about? What do you think about if you're a child? What I'm noticing when I talk to a kid like Sonic Run Everywhere, what I've noticed when I talk to kids who are middle school age, I've noticed a lot, and even like teenage, I've noticed a lot of nihilism. I noticed a lot of things. Life is pointless. Nothing is ever getting better. Yeah, 37. See, I get it. I get where he's at. I understand it. 'Cause I'm 34, so I get where he's coming from. I know a lot of people kind of in that age cohort, and I see what he's dealing with, especially if he's trying to date women in their late 30s. They are tough to deal with. They are very difficult. I think it becomes harder and harder and harder for them to cope with the reality of their situation. So they raise their standards because they're like, okay, this all has to be worth it at some point. Like, after all this crazy wild shit that I went through dating, it's been horrible. I've had my heart broken numerous times. I've been cheated on. I've lost this and that and this and that. I've had so many relationships that didn't turn out to be, let's say, 37 and single. At that point, you've been through a lot. I think a lot of women who've been in it the whole time, they're like, this has to be worth it somehow. Like, I have to do, like, the guy I get has to be so good to make it worth it. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth the costs I've sunk into this. And I get where they're coming from. I don't blame them necessarily for thinking that way. That's a very human way to look at it. But as a guy, when you're dating women that are 30 plus, you're I would say between 30 and 40, because after 40, the game changes a little bit. Those women tend to be a lot more no nonsense, especially if you're the younger guy and you're dating a woman over 40. It tends to be like very no nonsense. It can be a very educational experience. Yeah. And yeah, some people think that. I think you can't take it off the table. There's arguments for and against the stepdad life. I think it depends on the shape that the baby daddy relationship is in. And the women, like, there's some women that there's also the issue with single mothers, I think, is that if you're dating her, if she's a good mother, you're going to be like 10th in her list of priorities, right behind her favorite pair of flights. So there's like kids in order that she likes them, whatever pets they have, her favorite pair of fluffy socks, her vibrator, and then you way down at the bottom. But then the other one is if she's a bad mom, there are women who will just throw their kids under the bus at the first possible opportunity to get male attention. And that's how they got in this situation in the first place. So they can be very ruthlessly selfish, or just like, still trying to live in a way that's like not sustainable. They haven't adjusted their lifestyle choices to accommodate the fact that they're moms now. So that can be tricky. Now, there are virtuous ones. Strider's bringing up widows. It's like, if you meet a fucking, war widow. But, I mean, then they do exist. I'm not saying widows don't exist. It's just widows used to be a lot more common when people would go to war a lot. Societies would go to war a lot, but not so much anymore. Which is not a bad thing. I'm not, like, bemoaning the lack of widows. Maybe you're below the vibrator. Oh, good point. Yeah, but it's like, that's the issue. And, that's the thing, is that anybody who's single 30 plus is there for a reason. So you might get lucky and it's like not that bad of a reason. And that's true. I've met some chicks who were like single 30 plus and were bangers. That they do exist. It's just exceptionally rare. And those women are going to have options because there's so many dudes who are in the market for a woman who doesn't completely suck. And that's tricky. I would say the best thing you can do though is the dating apps are a losing proposition. Don't even try with the dating apps. I think that's just start to finish, reject those, try to focus on family and friends. That's my thing. I'm super into family and friends now. I think that's the meta that's actually like winnable. That's true. If it's a widow that you're always competing with the dead husband, that's tricky. Sort of a castaway situation. Tough. It's like, it's weird. Yeah, because you got to contend with like a dead husband or you got to contend with a living husband. Either way, or a living baby daddy, ex-husband, whatever the situation is. A lot of times women are like inordinately attracted or attached to the men they've had children with, and that never really goes away. Even if he doesn't reciprocate that attachment, and you got to deal with them. So, I mean, but yeah, that's what happens. Like the dating market's really complicated now, and a lot of people got ran through in their 20s, and now they're out in their 30s trying to put relationships together, and they got to deal with the consequences of their actions. Myself very much included, by the way. So you got to deal with that. It's like not awesome. It's like not a smart thing to do. I always tell it's like, periodically I have guys in their 20s tell me like, how can I, what do I say to girls, whatever. And it's like, I'll tell you, but I want to make sure you're going to use your powers for good. I don't want you out here like in the streets smashing everybody while you still have the ability to pair bond. Like guys are so eager to just go, fuck a bunch of strange and fucking ruin their ability to pair bond. They're so eager to do that, and I don't understand why. It's like, I understand that you crave novelty, but that shit is wildly overrated, and it does not compare to relationship stability. And, you know, the more you don't fucking get ran through, the easier time you're going to have with relationship stability. So that's, like, so I'll tell you, but just want to make sure you are using your powers for good. Fuck. All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. I've been going on 2.5 hours. I'm probably going to call it. This has been rad. My name is Theo Snodgrass. This has been a lot of fun. Please subscribe to me on YouTube or whatever. This has been cool. Take it easy. Bye, chat.